Live action remakes seem to be everywhere nowadays, from The Lion King to Aladdin to upcoming projects like Lilo and Stitch and How to Train Your Dragon. It seems to be a pretty new phenomenon, but let's take you back to the early 2000s where the best live action remakes occurred. And to start this off, let's talk about the Thunderbirds movie. Thunderbirds was a TV show from the 60s that was done with puppets. The show was about international rescue, a family who used literal rockets to save the day, usually from the bad guy, the Hood. The effects and sets were incredible. I remember growing up and watching my dad's old Thunderbirds videos and being in absolute awe. The show was old yet futuristic and the adventures were amazing. So it was no surprise that me and my dad were hyped to go see the live action version back in 2004. Damn, I'm getting old, that was 20 years ago! Now, the first thing to say about this film was that it had the best movie song of all time. Busted took the original theme song and made it into an absolute banger. And as for the movie, it did have mixed reviews, but I absolutely loved it. They went for an interesting take, having the main heroes from the TV show like Scott, Virgil and the other big dogs be stuck on Thunderbird 5, which gave us an interesting story of the youngest Tracy boy, Alan, and his friends having to save the world from the Hood. I liked the fact that it was a completely new story but kept the DNA of the original TV series, something we tend not to see with the new current stuff. They're either shot-for-shot remakes or different but lose the DNA of the original. The Thunderbirds movie also stuck to using as much practical effects as possible, even with the CG boom of the time. I mean, they literally built Lady Penelope's car. I want to say if you want an enjoyable live-action remake, then the Thunderbirds movie is definitely worth a watch. The other early 2000s live-action movie I want to talk about today is the two Scooby-Doo movies. Scooby-Doo again was originally a 60s TV show, and since the 60s there's been many variations of Scooby-Doo, and I'm sure you've probably seen at least one of them. But back to the two live action movies. The first one was in 2002. It's that old. And the other in 2004. These films were brilliant for the whole family. The stories were fantastic and weren't actually that easy to guess. The CGI of Scooby-Doo was also really incredible for the time. I mean, they nailed the real life look and the cartoon look at the same time, something that modern companies seem to struggle with a lot. I mean, just look at The Lion King for example, and that horrendous first version we got of Sonic. The casting of the film was also perfect. I mean, Matthew Lillard nailed Shaggy. Freddie Prinze Jr. was unreal as Fred. Sarah Michelle Gellar was perfect as Daphne, and Linda Cardinelli managed to make Velma sexy and smart. The movies really did have something for everyone. It does seem a shame though that the second movie wasn't a success at the box office, as it meant we never got to see the planned third. So to conclude, this trend of live action remakes we're seeing today needs to go back to the more goofy but fun early 2000s versions that had character and heart rather than the crap they're making today.